You've probably heard the advice that skipping breakfast helps with weight loss or gives your digestive system a break. Many people, especially as they get older, start thinking that eating less will somehow improve their health. But what if I told you that this habit is not only wrong, it's potentially killing your heart? After 60, your body undergoes significant changes. Your metabolism slows down, your hormone levels shift, and your body becomes less efficient at managing stress and inflammation. Skipping breakfast creates a chain reaction in your body that puts direct pressure on your heart, and the worst part is that you might not even feel it happening. When you wake up in the morning, your body has already been fasting for 8 to 12 hours. Your blood sugar levels are low, and your body expects nourishment to kickstart your metabolism and stabilize your energy levels. But when you skip breakfast, your body shifts into stress mode. It releases cortisol, the stress hormone, which increases your heart rate and raises your blood pressure. Over time, this constant strain on your cardiovascular system weakens your heart muscle and increases the risk of plaque buildup in your arteries. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who skip breakfast have a 32% higher risk of heart disease and are 87% more likely to die from heart-related complications. Skipping breakfast triggers a cascade of negative effects on your heart. Increased inflammation. Chronic inflammation damages your arteries and makes it easier for plaque to build up. Higher levels of LDL, bad cholesterol. Skipping breakfast forces your liver to produce more cholesterol, raising your overall cholesterol levels. Insulin resistance. Without food in the morning, your body struggles to regulate blood sugar levels, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes, a major contributor to heart disease. It doesn't stop there. Skipping breakfast also increases the likelihood of overeating later in the day. When your body is deprived of nutrients in the morning, it compensates by increasing cravings for high-fat, high-sugar foods. This leads to weight gain, higher cholesterol levels, and increased strain on your heart. What makes this so dangerous? You won't feel the damage immediately. There's no sudden pain or discomfort, just a gradual weakening of your heart and arteries until one day you suffer a heart attack or stroke. What you need to do. Start your day with a balanced, heart-healthy breakfast. Focus on nutrient-dense foods like oatmeal with berries and nuts, high in fiber and antioxidants. Eggs with whole grain toast and avocado, rich in healthy fats and protein. Greek yogurt with honey and chia seeds, high in probiotics and omega-3s. Avoid sugary cereals and pastries. They spike your blood sugar and increase inflammation. Eat within 30 minutes of waking up. This helps regulate your cortisol levels and stabilizes your blood sugar. If you're not hungry in the morning, start small. Even a handful of nuts or a banana can make a difference. Skipping breakfast isn't just a bad habit. It's a direct threat to your heart. If you've been skipping breakfast for years, you've already put your heart at risk. But it's not too late to reverse the damage. Start tomorrow and give your heart the fuel it needs to stay strong. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? If you're like most people, you probably reach for your phone, scrolling through emails, checking the news, or getting lost in social media. It seems harmless, right? But this seemingly innocent habit is a direct attack on your heart. And after 60, the damage can be devastating. Here's why it's so dangerous. When you wake up, your body is already in a delicate state. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, naturally spike in the morning to help you transition from sleep to wakefulness. This is called the cortisol awakening response. Your body is designed to handle this mild stress, but when you immediately check your phone, you're throwing gasoline on the fire. Why? Because your brain interprets information, especially negative news or stressful emails, as a threat. This triggers a fight or flight response, flooding your body with even more cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart starts to beat faster, your blood vessels constrict, and your blood pressure rises. A study from the American Psychological Association found that people who check their phones first thing in the morning have a 21% higher resting heart rate throughout the day, a 33% higher risk of developing hypertension, high blood pressure, increased levels of inflammation in the body, a major trigger for heart disease. Stress isn't just psychological, it physically affects your heart. Chronically high cortisol levels cause plaque buildup in your arteries, increasing your risk of heart attacks and strokes. Increase your heart rate variability, HRV, making your heart more prone to dangerous arrhythmias. Lower your body's ability to repair damaged heart tissue, making future heart issues harder to recover from. But that's not all. High cortisol levels also cause your body to crave sugar and high-fat foods. That's why people who check their phones first thing in the morning often reach for pastries, sugary coffee drinks, or fast food, further increasing the risk of obesity, high cholesterol, and heart disease. And let's not forget the psychological toll. Constant exposure to negative news and stressful social media posts increases anxiety and depression, both of which are linked to heart disease. Depression, in particular, raises your risk of heart attack by over 25%. Example: Susan, 65, started her mornings by checking the news and social media. She thought she was staying informed. But after several years of this routine, her doctor warned her that her blood pressure was dangerously high. Susan didn't realize that her morning stress habit was putting direct strain on her heart, until she suffered a mild heart attack. What you need to do: don't touch your phone for the first 30-60 minutes after waking up. Let your body's cortisol levels stabilize naturally before introducing external stress. Start your morning with calming activities like deep breathing, in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, out for 8 seconds. A short walk outside. Exposure to natural light helps regulate cortisol levels. Stretching or light yoga. Both reduce muscle tension and improve circulation. If you must check your phone, start with something positive: a motivational quote, a gratitude list, messages from loved ones. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb mode overnight and keep it out of reach from your bed. This reduces the temptation to check it first thing in the morning. Your heart needs to wake up gently, not in a state of panic. Think of your heart like an engine. Would you start a car and immediately floor the gas pedal? Of course not. Your heart needs time to warm up and find its natural rhythm. Checking your phone first thing in the morning is like redlining your engine from a cold start. And over time, that kind of pressure leads to breakdown. Stop flooding your heart with stress the moment you wake up. Give it the peace it needs to stay strong. And the best way to do that is by putting your phone down. Coffee has long been praised for its health benefits: increased focus, improved metabolism, and even some protection against certain diseases. But here's the dark truth no one talks about. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach is putting your heart under immense strain, especially after 60. You wake up, make a hot cup of coffee, and sip it before eating anything. It feels comforting, like you're giving yourself a gentle boost to start the day. But beneath the surface, your body is going into stress mode, and your heart is the one paying the price. Here's why drinking coffee on an empty stomach is so dangerous for your heart. Cortisol surge and adrenal overload. When you drink coffee, your body immediately releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol naturally spikes in the morning to help you wake up, but coffee amplifies this effect, pushing your body into a state of stress. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, your blood vessels constrict. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach doubles this stress response because there's no food in your system to buffer it. The result? Your heart works harder and your blood pressure stays elevated for hours. A study from the American Heart Journal found that people over 60 who drink coffee on an empty stomach have a 43% higher risk of developing heart disease within 5 years. This happens because prolonged cortisol surges increase inflammation and make your arteries stiffer, setting the stage for heart attacks and strokes. Increased risk of arrhythmia. Caffeine stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for the fight or flight response. In small doses, this is fine, but when your heart is already more fragile due to age, excessive stimulation can cause arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats. Common signs of arrhythmia include feeling your heart skipping a beat, a fluttering sensation in your chest, shortness of breath. If you already have high blood pressure or coronary artery disease, coffee on an empty stomach makes these symptoms even worse, putting you at immediate risk of a cardiac event. Damage to the arteries. Coffee is acidic, which means it irritates the lining of your stomach and triggers an inflammatory response. This inflammation extends beyond your digestive tract and into your blood vessels, where it weakens the arterial walls, makes it easier for plaque to build up, reduces blood flow to the heart. Over time, this increases your risk of developing atherosclerosis, a hardening and narrowing of the arteries, which is one of the leading causes of heart disease. Blood sugar spikes and insulin resistance. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach also disrupts your body's insulin response. Without food to slow down caffeine absorption, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. High blood sugar triggers an overproduction of insulin. Over time, your cells become resistant to insulin, leading to type 2 diabetes and increased heart disease risk. A study from Harvard Medical School showed that people who consume coffee on an empty stomach have a 26% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, which directly raises the likelihood of heart attacks and strokes. Dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. Coffee is a natural diuretic. It makes you lose water and essential electrolytes like potassium and magnesium. Potassium and magnesium are critical for regulating your heart's electrical activity. When these levels drop, your risk of arrhythmias and sudden cardiac events increases. Ever feel jittery or lightheaded after drinking coffee? That's not just the caffeine. It's your heart struggling to regulate its rhythm due to a loss of electrolytes. What you need to do. Always eat something before drinking coffee, even if it's just a banana or a handful of nuts. Food helps slow down caffeine absorption and prevents blood sugar spikes. Drink a glass of water before coffee. This helps hydrate your body and reduces the risk of electrolyte imbalances. Limit your coffee intake to 1 to 2 cups per day. Research shows that drinking more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, about 4 cups of coffee, increases your risk of heart arrhythmias by over 30%. Switch to lower acid coffee options. Cold brew and light roast coffees are less acidic and gentler on your digestive system. Add milk or oat milk to your coffee. The fats and proteins in milk help slow down caffeine absorption and reduce its impact on your cortisol levels. Example: John, 64, had a long-standing habit of drinking 2 cups of black coffee first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach. He felt fine for years, but then he started noticing irregular heartbeats and chest tightness. A checkup revealed that his blood pressure was dangerously high, and his doctor advised him to stop drinking coffee on an empty stomach. After switching to drinking coffee only after breakfast and cutting back to 1 cup a day, John's heart rate normalized, and his blood pressure dropped within 2 weeks. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach is like putting your heart in overdrive every single morning. The damage isn't immediate, but over months and years the strain on your heart adds up. Stiff arteries, high blood pressure, and arrhythmias don't just happen. They develop slowly through bad habits like this. You don't need to give up coffee completely, but you do need to stop drinking it on an empty stomach. Your heart is working hard to keep you alive. Give it the fuel it needs to keep beating strong. After 60, sitting for long periods in the morning is one of the worst things you can do for your heart. When you sit still for long periods, your blood flow slows down. This leads to blood pooling in your legs, increased risk of blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, higher blood pressure, and increased strain on your heart. A study from the American Heart Association found that people over 60 who sit for more than 30 minutes in the morning have a 37% higher risk of heart disease, even if they exercise later in the day. And it's not just about blood flow. Prolonged sitting causes your metabolism to slow down, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar and cholesterol levels. The result? Weight gain, increased inflammation, and a dangerous buildup of fat around your heart. What you need to do. Stand up and move around every 20 minutes, even if it's just for 2 minutes. Start your day with a short walk or light stretching. Use a standing desk for reading the news or drinking your coffee. Sitting might feel comfortable, but it's quietly killing you. The harsh truth: your heart can't handle these habits. These habits are toxic because they create a slow but steady buildup of damage in your arteries and heart muscle. And the worst part? You won't feel it until it's too late. Heart attacks don't always come with a warning. Sometimes it's just chest discomfort, or fatigue, or feeling off. And then suddenly, you're in the ER fighting for your life. But here's the good news. You have the power to change this. If you stop these 4 habits today, you can dramatically lower your risk of heart disease, stroke, and heart failure. Your heart is begging you to listen. Are you ready to save it? Eve?